Good morning. This is an AI webinar. It's another sunny day. It's always nice and sunny at the moment. I quite like it. It's the 4th of June already. Okay, so first of all, let's get a couple of disclaimers out of the way. Let me apologise for not doing any sessions for the last week and a half. I was actually quite an ill boy. I had kidney stones. For those of you who don't know, it's just when minerals build up in your kidneys, and then when it tries to escape, it basically rips the inside of your kidneys apart. You can easily avoid this, and talking to the doctors, I found that people in our industry are probably more likely to experience kidney stones through sort of excessive working in heat and not drinking enough. So, lesson of the day, drink lots of water, otherwise you get excruciating pain, which is not nice. Okay, so second up, I only spotted this morning that this session was on the calendar, and I don't think it should have been because we're about to change the way we're doing things. But as it's on the calendar, I thought I would honour the session. So the overall, what's advertised today is an AI Q&A session. So that's an opportunity for you to jump in and ask me any questions. If no one does jump in and ask questions, there are a few sort of simple things I can show you. I think the plan going forwards is that from next week it will be a Friday only session, rather than doing multiple sessions a week and us sort of running around behind the scenes trying to constantly get ready for stuff. We're going to focus on a single session. Anyway, so if you are not there already, you can jump into the chat room on this Facebook web broadcast. Come and say hello. I can see that there are people tuned in. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever suits your local place of origin. Okay, so let's have a think. There's probably quite a few things that I haven't really shown in any of the main webinars over the last few weeks. And the reason for some of that is that some things are so small it's kind of hard to base a whole webinar around. This is one of the joys of planning webinars. You find that a lot of the things that you would think would make a good subject actually don't, because they're either too big for a session or too small for a session or not related to other things. So anyway, let's throw a few of those things in. So a couple of things I was thinking about were things like the tap tempo, and how you would engage the Pioneer Pro DJ link. Now I can't actually show you the Pioneer Pro DJ link because you need hardware connected, and I don't have any CDJs here. However, we can go on. So let's have a quick think about BPM sync and tap tempo as well, because that kind of ties in with itself. So, excuse me. In my AI interface, if I press the F4 button, it brings me up this little widget on the left. You might remember that there used to be a centrally appearing widget that you couldn't move out of the way or anything. So as we've added functions, we thought it was a good time for us to sort of move the widget, bring it in line with the same sort of design as everything else. Anyway, let us first of all look at just standard tap tempo so you can sort of get an idea of what's going on, and then when I explain the Pro DJ Link stuff, it will make a little bit more sense. So the BPM widget itself, you can see that I just changed the look of it. So this drop down here, the one that says tap at the moment, that gives you access to the two states, tap or Pro DJ Link. So what does tap do? So once we've got the widget there, much like our timecode widget, we actually need to activate the widget. So that's done in the system settings. Let's just bring that down, and then down here on the bottom left we have tap widget BPM master, and so if we enable that, it becomes the BPM master. I think my clip's sped up a little bit there, yeah, just a little bit. Okay, so we can either, once we've set that, we don't really need to use the system settings window. We've just got a button here that does the same as the F4 button, and this tap button is going to be the same as pressing that tap button there. So we're enabled. We can get rid of that system settings. Okay, so as we are, if I give that a tap, we can get an averaged tempo out of this. Now, obviously at the moment it's not done anything to the clip, and that is purely because I haven't set any BPM settings to that clip. So I'm going to stick with this clip because actually it's quite a good clip. What I'm going to do, I can see it selected there. I'm just going to move it over here so it's a little bit more convenient. So I'm going to do Control X and then just put it there. There we go. Just makes it a little bit easy for me. So if I right click on the clip, we can see this window here, our clip properties window. Now the thing we want down is down here on the bottom left, the beats section. So what this actually does is when we define an amount of beats here, the speed of the playback is determined by the tap or the tempo that we're receiving. So if we, for instance, say that this, I'm going to turn it on first, so we can see it's giving us, in this case, 32. It's saying that this clip will be 32 beats long. Now I'm going to just change it quite drastically so we can a little bit more easily see the tempo difference. So we can use these multipliers or dividers here. We can add pluses or minuses. I'm going to go down to something like 8 beats. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So just to confirm what we're talking about beats there, what I'll do is when I tap the tap tempo button, because I realise there's no sound there and I'm not doing it to an audio track, I'm just doing it to my brain, I'll do a boom. So our clip is going to be 8 beats long, so I'll boom 8 times just to give you an idea of what sort of length we're expecting. We're expecting boom, 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 boom. Okay, so the clip itself is going to take that long to play. So if we now put this clip, in fact, what we'll do, let's just make a duplicate of that clip, and I'm going to just have the duplicate so it's not on the tap tempo. There we go, that one there. That one there. Okay, cool. So we just got our normal version of it there, should we need it. In fact, just to make it really easy, let's just change the colour. There we go. So green is our normal one, and then the white one is going to be our tap tempo one. So when I bring the tap tempo one in, you'll see that its speed is going to change pretty sharply. So it's now automatically picking up this tempo. So if I just want to confirm that that's working, if I tap it really quickly, we should see it speed up, like so. And if I do it really slowly, you can see it's going really slowly. And this is showing a nice feature of AI here. We've got frame blending on the clips here. So rather than doing a stuttery motion of each individual frame, it crossfades each frame into each frame. It just smooths up the motion when you get too far from the original tempo. Okay, so you can see how this tap tempo system is working. So theoretically you'd sort of tap along to your music and the like. Now I'm going to just put that one on there. So the Pro DJ Link stuff, if we just select that, essentially what's going to happen with Pro DJ Link is something very similar, but rather than you manually tapping a beat value, your beat value is provided by an external device, one of the applicable Pioneer CDJ or media players. So once we've got our Pro DJ Link selected, you would have to set up some other things. You have to have your hardware within your same network. There is a bit of software which I've just gone completely blank on the name. It might be Pro DJ Link. There's a bit of Pioneer software that sits in inline, and once that's up and running, you'll get an online status here. Now what happens, I'm going to show you, but it's going to be empty because we've got no incoming values. Let's just take that out of the way a little bit. There we go. So this can represent this will represent maximum of 4 decks which are supported with Pro DJ Link. Each of the decks you'll be able to see as individual sources. You'll see the BPMs, all that kind of stuff. If there's any IDs on there, you'll pick that up. You can then basically decide which of those decks or layers, as they're stated here, which of those sources are your tempo masters. And so you can then say, okay, at the moment I want player number 2 to be my tempo master. You'll see a readout of the tempo there, and you'll get a beat counter essentially. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, just to give you an idea of the phase. And you've got an offset there to account for sort of any network lag that you may or may not experience. It's actually pretty quick over a network. If you've got a reasonable network, you probably won't notice any lag at all. Okay, so obviously, as I say, I don't have any CDJs here, so I can't actually show you this functioning, but it's a great thing. Then you can basically ensure that any of the clips you play back are going to be in tempo with the audio being played by the DJ. To take it a little step further, excuse me, inside of the clip, on the left side, the clip properties, you can lock a specific clip to a specific CDJ and a specific track ID. So what this essentially means is you can truly DVJ. So when I say DVJ, I mean this is open to interpretation, but my personal meaning of DVJ, and I say this as someone who's been interested in DVJs for 15 plus years. So for me, a DVJ is someone who is DJing but controlling video at the same time. Usually from the DJing end is the control. So using the tags and IDs, what you can do is you can lock specific videos, so you don't even need to have an operator on the video end. So if you have a special video for each different track that the DJ might play in their set, they can then trigger those videos themselves. It's a bit like a timecode trigger, but it's looking for another set of values basically that that you can burn to your CD or have embedded in the MP3 and is recognised and sent by Pro DJ Link. Okay, so that is that one. I am going to just close my widget there with my F4 button. Okay, so what else did I have a think about? So if anyone does have any thoughts or any questions, now is a good time to jump into the chat room. At the moment I have 0 questions thrown at me. Such is life. Okay, so let's just have a quick jump through. So obviously we've got our stage construction page here. I'm just basically flicking through pages, just seeing if I can give you any sort of hints and tips and thoughts and stuff like that. Tomorrow's session that I am going to do, and it is properly scheduled, I am going to do the 3D modelling session that I promised a couple of weeks ago before I got very, very ill. So tomorrow I'm going to look at using Blender, which is free 3D software, but the theories and the concepts that I'm going to be sharing are universal concepts across 3D platforms. But yeah, tomorrow what we'll do is we'll look at building more interesting screens. We'll look at building output maps as well, which is something that I showed in a previous set of tutorials. Good morning, Johan. Good to see you. Okay. Yeah, so that session is going to happen tomorrow. I think it is at 3:30. Let us have a look. So what I've got here, hopefully, I'm just fiddling around. I'm using OBS here. So I've got a few different layouts. And I've completely forgotten what I put that on onto. Did I put it there? There we go. So we've got a little browser there. Let's just go to avolites.com. Oh, that is the wrong keyboard. avolites.com/online resources. Let's have a look. So this page is a good place to check for sort of upcoming stuff. Yeah, so 4:30 I'm on tomorrow. Let's just go back to that one there. Cool. Yeah, 4:30 I am on tomorrow. So yeah, I'm going to be looking at 3D modelling in that. Okay, so in fact, let's just say I might as well show you if you want to be ready in advance for that. Let's go back to there. Was it there? The wrong one. GUI. That maybe. There we go. The software that I'm going to use tomorrow is Blender. Oh, I've done it on the wrong keyboard again. I've got a keyboard on my lap. So blender.org. If you want to be prepared in advance, you can download Blender 2.83. I'm actually going to use a couple of versions because there are a couple of issues that I have with the latest version. But if you want to get it in advance, you can go in here, you can download 2.83. At the top you've got previous versions. So the other previous version I am going to use is 2.79. Good old 2.79. That one there, Blender 2.79. Anyway, that is for tomorrow. Let's go back there. Good morning, Danusha. Hi, Johan. I think how to say it? I'm just looking at your question. You seem to be describing something I've shown in quite a few webinars, but I'm just reading it again in case my brain is taking it in the wrong way. Will there be an item how to send one video to multiple panel in one screen? To be honest, let's just go back. Let's jump off that clip. There we go. Send one video to multiple panel in one screen. So surely what you're talking about there, Johan, is just using the region tool. If I go to this here, we should be able to get an output. There we go. Yep, there you go. So on my bottom left there, you can see I've got my my app. Oh, it doesn't make a difference on this app interface actually. There we go. Let's go back to that one there. Oh, you can tell I wasn't prepared for this morning. So to me, it just sounds like you're talking about making different size regions. Which is what I would do with the region tool. So I'm going to copy and paste. Now it does paste onto the next point, so you see it's this left hand region is actually starting here, doing that. So I'm going to just go back and make it start at 0. There we go. I think I'm going to get both of those. So I'm going to select all. I'm going to copy. If I do Control Shift V, there we go. Then I've just got to move those two up to 0. That one there. That one there. So that, from your description there, that is what I would make of your description. To me, it sounds like you're talking about, will there be an item how to send one video to multiple panels in one screen? That is exactly how I would do this. It could be that I've misunderstood the question there, so do feel free to correct me. Or if it is a complex one that requires thought, because I do understand sometimes things sound simple when you don't kind of click with the question, but they might be more deep. You can always fire the question over to support@avolitesmedia.com. Let's do that. I mean, obviously as well, if you wanted to change the layout, you could be using different output mappings as well. So we could say 4 screens, and then we could maybe have one where yeah, so you're talking about different output mappings there. So my other output mapping here would be, sorry for those who are a little bit confused, I'm reading in the chat a request. So I save my second output mapping. I load both the output mappings into the config. What I'm going to do, I can change them here, but I'm going to go and just use the main interface because I can show you a nice little preview there. There we go. So we'll go like that. So this preview won't show the output mappings. However, my output, I have one there. There we go. Let me just move that out of the way. That's slightly freaky. So that window output I'm doing in OBS, so I can't see it on my AI server. Yeah, so now those output mappings I've made, you see that one on the bottom left. We've got that large layout, and then if I press this one, my layout changes to the 4-way layout. Okay, so apologies if I have not understood. I think those are the two options there, regions and then changing those layouts using the output configuration options. Okay, let's go back to that one there. I've got all these different setups in OBS, and they're all set up for slightly different situations, and I have not named them the best, so I have to sort of double think when I'm changing my outputs here. OBS is cool though, like obviously got that one, and I kind of like it, yeah. It's a really good tool. Anyway. Oh, my chat box has scrolled down, and I did not notice that. Okay, so if you want, so Johan then, if you want to have a preview, the 3D preview which updates as the outputs, because they are actually different things in the software basically. The outputs is what you, this thing here is not, the screen in the middle is not, if you're just using, if you're using the output, the output thing, it's not going to be reflected in this screen because you're with the output mapper that's taking this and presenting it in different ways. The way, if you want that to show, if you want that preview to show, then you're going to have multiple 3D models. Or alternatively, you just make yourself a preview window, because obviously you can just do this. If we go to our outputs, we do insert a window. So this is something I looked at in the salvation sessions. Just attach that to the output. This is the only way to do this. So Control and Tab will bring my windows forward like that. But that is going to take it at the standard resolution, so you'd have to put a clear and a rendered texture to change the size Um, yeah, I mean, you could have different 3D models. You could have multiple 3D models loaded at the same time. I've gone to the wrong page there. Um, because you can have multiple 3D models loaded at the same time on the same fixture, and you could then potentially send some kind of ArtNet. Let's go into there. Into the fixture, there is a model. That's the wrong one. There is a model select. Um, yeah, you've got a model select input there that you can remotely control. It will quite complicate your workflow though, if I'm completely honest, especially if you're mapping. You have to map for each and everything. Um, in the ideal world, your content is prepped in the correct layout so that you don't actually have to use output mappings, and so then any content you play actually would show correctly in your model here. Anyway, that's a question of approach. Let's. Good morning, Paco. Good to have you with us as well. Okay, so let's have a think. So I'm going to move on from there. What have we got? Performance tab, timeline, output tab. Oh, my chat window keeps resetting now. See, I think we've had the discussion about that Titan control before, so I think that's more a feature request, and I, I can do nothing about those currently in a Q&A session. Okay. This is kind of derailing me here. Okay, so I think that unless I get any questions in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to call this a day. Okay, so don't forget, session coming up tomorrow at, I think it said 3:30. Let's have another check. Where was that one there? Ah, joy. Lost the page. There we go. We go back to. Now I've forgotten which thing it was on. There we go. 4:30 tomorrow. So 4:30 tomorrow till 5:15. I think what I'll probably do in the future, I'm gonna maybe, if I'm just doing the one session a week, I'll extend the time of it a little bit, because that'll make life a bit easier to fit things in. Yeah. So 4:30 tomorrow, you can find me. So the page that we are looking at there, that is obviously this page here. So if you go onto avolites.com/online resources, you can find out what's coming up. You can find out any plans. We're probably going to try, and we've been talking about maybe hosting or providing an easier way to find the previous sessions, so that you can easily jump in and out of them. We noticed that we did a questionnaire. We didn't have very much feedback on the questionnaire, but we noticed that most people seem to request things that we've already done. So we're going to take that as we need to present it in a way that's a bit easier to find what we have already done. Okay, so I am going to call it a day there. Thank you very much for tuning in. Do have a splendid day, and I shall catch you all very soon.